Welcome back to the Tidarium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about something a little bit different, and of course it's got to be different. If I keep making the same video over and over and over, that's the exact definition of insanity, right? Expecting a different result, but this result will be different because we're talking about collectors versus normies. And it's not the battle of it, it's just the differences between that. What's a normie? Well, your friends at work and family members and other people that you know that don't collect. But with that, we meet a lot of friends through collecting. We'll talk about all of that. And this topic is one I've been wanting to do for a long time. And with that, I'm going to get into defining the normies, talking about the differences, and then stay to the end because actually, toy collectors and normies are one and the same. We'll discuss this and more. It'll open your mind. Coming up. We're going to start this out by defining what a normie is. A lot of people accuse me of just making up words because I've made up like 40 words. I mean, I do. When you're on the internet, that's what you do. You make up creative, fun terms and you share them. But normie's been around for a while. It is a noun, an ordinary or conventional person, as distinguished from someone who is a member of a particular group or subculture, aka vintage toy collector, masterpiece transformer collector. I need a guide for geeks struggling to buy presents for normies. The venue had a no blue jeans policy to keep out normies. Very strange that the definition itself even includes the word geeks, which, by the way, I do not like referring to collectors as geeks. That's so weird. I mean, it's just, to me, that's not something I enjoy doing, but it is what it is. Normie is a slang word. This is another definition. Normie is a slang word that refers to a normal person with typical hobbies. What's a typical hobby? Hunting and fishing. Interests and common social attitudes. The word was borrowed into Russian in its plural form. Okay, whatever. Let's go a little too deep there, but as you can see, it is a definition. It is a word. I'm not making this one up, but I'm not guaranteeing you I won't make up the one next week. So who are these people that I am saying are normies? Well, these are friends, family members, and co-workers. One of the things I noticed early on when I started collecting in 1996 was that I thought I was the only person in the world collecting. And then the other people out there, they don't collect, they don't understand, they wouldn't get it. And really, I felt like the only person on the planet and in the world. And I started collecting at antique stores, which was stupid expensive, like $5 for a beater figure back in 1996. So one of the things I did notice was as time went by, I met more people at work that actually I could relate with, that maybe they didn't collect, but they understood the lore, or they were interested in sort of the stuff that I was interested in. And then down the road, I did meet a lot of collectors, and with that, the world has changed. But in the early days, from thinking I was the only person on the planet that collected to now feeling like I almost feel like it's odd. You don't collect anything? Yeah, you do. Well, we'll get into all of that. But with it, as time went by, I was able to meet more people, but they would still come over, say people from work would come over, and they didn't collect toys, so they would see it and they would be like, wow. I always get the whole, like, they're shocked. They're stunned they're just like frozen looking at it in shock. And I mean, if somebody comes and works on my internet, like, if there's a 20-minute conversation, I know there, but anyhow, that's just how things go. By the way, these pictures I'm showing are from the 22,000 subscriber special, and if you submit your pictures, I'm going to probably try to get the link back down here for the 23,000 subscriber special, which is probably going to come way faster than the 22K special. But when I have people come over, I mean, some of the comments from my colleagues, when they would come over and they would just be astounded by all the stuff that I have, and they would say stuff like, well, why don't you sell a lot of this stuff before the value drops? Actually, that was a question I got prior to 2020, which is weird. That was like 2016 or 2015, and I'm like, because I like it. I have it because I like it. But yeah, I do sell some stuff off here and there. But it's interesting how people think, how normies think when they see your collection. A lot of times I hear people make comments, and the comments about the collecting is more about the monetary aspect. Like, they're more interested in the money, in how much did it cost, how much is it worth, how much could you get for this stuff? I mean, that's always interesting. That's always a topic when these normies come over. So you see they don't truly understand, but people nowadays, the normies, are more interested in understanding of it, and we'll get into more of that. Now, collectors collect mostly because of nostalgia and to have a representation of the past, remembering the past, enjoying the past. And there's a distinction between modern and vintage collection, which is definitely not something I'm talking about in this video, but we all have that nostalgia. We all have that longing for the past and the happiness and the fun memories, and we're bringing back those memories, and of course bringing to life what you see on the screen or the franchises that you love, and having a physical representation of that. The whole NFT collecting digital stuff, that's easy. Just click the picture and keep it in a file on a thumb drive and you've got that collection. But the physical is where it is different. The physical makes a world of difference to have a physical representation and something to kind of manifest your passions in reality. It's fun to collect. Oh, by the way, the reason I show this picture is because this is what got me started collecting. Had this not happened, I probably never would have started collecting the toys. But then again, I probably would have bumped into something else that jolted me into wanting to start collecting. This line, seeing that they were different, because in my mind they were just repopping. When I left off collecting, they were repopping the same thing over and over and over, just put on a different card. Well, wait, hold on. That's kind of what Hasbro's doing nowadays. But anyway, the repopping the same thing over and over and over. These were new sculpts. This was completely new, and felt like some new era, and I wanted to be part of it. A lot of times normies will have their own hobbies. It's not that normies don't have hobbies, they just aren't collecting vintage toys or masterpiece transformers or any of that kind of stuff. A lot of normies like the sports. It's considered, as you saw with the definition, acceptable. This is one of those acceptable not collecting, but hobbies. I do want to shout out to Oklahoma City and the Thunder, who won the finals, the NBA finals. So here in Oklahoma, we won. I mean, we've got to finally win something, right? I also heard that one of my wife's colleagues that's a normie paid like $3,000 for tickets to go see the finals in Oklahoma City. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I don't even know how to check it at this point to retroactively check how much prices of tickets were, but that's kind of crazy. I mean, can you imagine spending thousands of dollars just on tickets to one sporting event? That's almost 3 of this guy. I mean, think about it. That's almost 3 of this Lewin Resources Metroplex just to go watch a ball game. The ball game's over. Well, I'd rather have 3 Metroplexes. I'd rather have at least one in each mode, right? There's a lot of similarities here, though. Normies that like the sports, which I enjoy some sports, but I'm not heavy into it. And if I miss a game, I don't care. If someone runs the score, I don't care. It doesn't bother me. I'm not that into it. But normies are looking forward to this stuff. And to the point that they don't even want anybody to, if they miss the game and they're going to watch it later, they avoid any online social media because they don't want to be spoiled. And, there's some similarities there. But I have to say this, though, when we collect, we get the same excitement for either getting an item in the mail or getting, we landed that pre-order, we know we're going to get the item. There's a lot of similarities to that. Looking forward to the game every night, or looking forward to what's coming in the mailbox, or looking forward to getting that, one thing that shows up at retail. You see, when collectors take part in media, watching movies, watching shows, even reliving it, watching the old TV series, cartoon series. But what I think really has brought collecting into the mainstream is the good part of Marvel before it went downhill. Oddly enough, I'm going to say this. I watched Deadpool versus Wolverine. I did not like the first two Deadpool movies. I liked that last one. I liked how they were bashing on the multiverse nonsense. Hopefully multiverse is a thing of the past and never comes back. Maybe we can go back in time and erase the multiverse idea. But Endgame was the best Marvel, and since then, really it has not been great. There have been a couple of decent things since then, but not great. So this still reigns supreme as the best Marvel since Endgame is Endgame. And with that, when I left, as though I collect stuff, I still didn't really have any inclination to collect anything from Marvel, but I did end up when you see it in person, getting one of these, I had to get one. I had to get the glove. Had to get the Infinity Gauntlet. In fact, I actually got the Iron Man one also, and turns out those are getting even cheaper. I thought they'd get more expensive as time went by, but they actually got cheaper. It doesn't really matter. I've got them both, one at either side of my movie theater underneath the screen, and it's still kind of fun. So it's one of those things that normies can go to a movie, and they can leave and not want to buy anything from the movie whatsoever. In 2007, Transformers, the live-action movie, was brought into the mainstream in the big screen, and I knew a lot of people that went to see this, loved it, probably went and saw it 2 or 3 times, don't own a Transformer. Not even one. In fact, that's what normies do. They could go watch a movie, enjoy the franchise, love the franchise, want to see the next movie that comes out, watch every movie, and still not buy any of the stuff. The same way I am with Marvel, but of course Marvel doesn't resonate with me in the same way that Transformers and Star Wars G.I. Joe, Transformers, what are these other ones? Well, the other 100 resonate with me. Just like moviegoers back in the day, was it 1994 or something like that, 90s, that Basic Instinct came out. They went to the movies. Nobody wanted to go collect an ice pick. Hopefully, hopefully people stayed away from crazy chicks, some really crazy stuff. But people watching Basic Instinct, they're not collecting the $1.95 Kmart ice pick. I do know a lot of normies that like to collect girls or girlfriends, or one's more than enough. It's funny that I heard somebody tell me that, like, why do you need more than one Optimus Prime? And I don't have an explanation. I feel like Night the Roxbury when they're trying to explain, and it doesn't make any sense. But video game collectors, now they're almost considered mainstream normies. Video game collectors. This is like normal occurrence. It's just like, yeah, it looks cool. People that have walls of CDs, walls of DVD movies, all this kind of stuff. That's more of a mainstream normie kind of thing. I have a vintage toy collection and a vintage video game collection. And I actually had video games, a collection of video games before I started collecting toys. So, I mean, we're talking, I had a lot of games from my childhood still and all that. But nothing like this. There's like 1,100 games that were made for the original NES, and just it's exponentially higher once you get into like the PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 3 has just got a tremendous amount of them. But I've just got like a box. It's probably about 4 times the size of a shoebox, and it fits all my Nintendo 64 games in it. Then I got tubs of Nintendo and Super Nintendo, but nothing like this. Nothing like this. I don't consider myself a game collector anymore. Thought I was, until I started seeing some of these professional-looking game collection displays, and the people saying that they've got the full run. I'll never have the full run. The other thing I noticed is normies would be the type of people that would pick up maybe a vintage or maybe a reissue version of Optimus Prime and Megatron. Just an Optimus Prime and a Megatron, and do not want to get anything else. Don't want a Bumblebee, don't want a Starscream. No, just Optimus Prime, Megatron. Put it here on a desk or in a corner shelf, leave it there and collect dust for the next 20 or 30 years. And not even think about it. Not even think about, oh, I need to upgrade my MP10. See, a lot of normies that would have a couple things here and there from, they've got their sports stuff, they've got their Transformers, they might even have a statue or some other things. I've noticed that. I've noticed people. And generally, it would be one and done and never even think about getting another one. Never think, oh, I need to upgrade that. They just be like, oh, that's good enough. That's good enough. Collectors, on the other hand, most collectors gotta have the best of the best of the best and the latest and greatest. Lastly, I want to say that let's say I quit collecting and I joined the world of normies, then there's no way I would just be sitting around doing nothing in my spare time. As collecting takes up so much of my time and it's so enjoyable and there's so many activities and things that I do that are involved in collecting, I don't think I ever would transform into a normie and stop collecting. But even if I did become a normie, I'd always collect something. There'd always be something to collect. Because I have heard this, that the key to happiness in life is to always have something to look forward to. Yeah, the key to happiness, love and financially stable, all this kind of stuff. But always having something to look forward to. That's the key to happiness. And you know what? I find that that's still true. Whether it's something to do with your family members, but still something to look forward to. And collecting gives us that. So let me know what you guys think about this topic. Have you noticed any of these things that I brought up, or like most people would have noticed everything I brought up and seen this firsthand? Let me know in the comments section below. Like and subscribe. And am I wrong about everything? Because those are the fun comments too. I dare him hang her out. Life is like this. I know some people that collect some drones. They like to fly the drones. They like to make the drones flip up and down and into circles. I know one guy, he's got some drones that he collects. He wants to fly them over into the desert. In the desert, they want to see what's going on with these new holes. Some holes pop up in the desert. And the drones will fly down in there to see if the news is right about what's going on with holes in the desert. And some people also collect boxes of chocolates